4T engineers took a long 3.5-hour ride from Phoenix to Kingman. When they got there, it was nighttime. There were MPs on all corners of the craft. It's about a 40-foot diameter dish-shaped craft.
For decades, the skies have whispered secrets that governments struggle to explain, and witnesses risk everything to reveal.
I jumped out of my truck as it came up over me. It was about 30 feet over my head, and I remember thinking I could hit this with a rock.
From radar logs to leaked testimony, the evidence keeps piling up. Too consistent to ignore, too strange to dismiss. This shocking proof of aliens has left even seasoned experts unsettled, raising the question, are we finally standing on the edge of undeniable truth? The Pentagon's quiet disclosure. For decades, talk of unidentified aerial phenomena lingered in rumor and shaky videos. But in 2021, the Pentagon did something no one expected. It confirmed the authenticity of several Navy recordings showing unidentified craft maneuvering beyond the limits of known technology.
The Pentagon released its report on UFO sightings today, saying an additional 366 sightings have been investigated since 2021.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
These weren't amateur captures. They were infrared recordings from U.S. fighter jets, codenamed FLIR, Go Fast and Gimbal. The objects rotated mid-air, accelerated without propulsion, and moved against strong winds, all verified on radar. This quiet acknowledgement marked a shift from denial to reluctant admission. The Department of Defense avoided the word UFO, opting for the more clinical UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. Officials confirmed the footage was real, but offered no explanation. The result was both revelation and restraint, confirmation that the unknown was real, but silence on what it might be. The disclosure raised more questions than it answered. Why release these videos now? Was it damage control or part of a slow drip of truth? As the military formed new investigation units like AARO, one thing became clear: the phenomenon wasn't isolated. Reports of encounters were mounting, not just in the air but over the oceans, where some of the most baffling evidence would soon emerge. The 2019 Navy encounters. In 2019, U.S. Navy destroyers off California began reporting nightly visits from strange aerial objects. Crews aboard ships like the USS Russell and USS Omaha recorded glowing craft, triangular formations hovering silently above the fleet.
According to Mystery Wire, the video was leaked ahead of a U.S. intelligence report that is due out next month. This radar video from 2019 shows unidentified objects closing in on the USS Omaha. This is off the coast of San Diego.
On infrared video, they maintained steady flight for long periods, unaffected by wind or gravity. The Pentagon later confirmed the footage was authentic, part of an official UAP investigation. The USS Omaha incident was especially unnerving. Sailors tracked a spherical object hovering above the ocean before it suddenly descended into the water, without splash, sound, or trace. Search teams found nothing. The event hinted at transmedium technology, craft capable of moving seamlessly between air and sea. Radar data backed the visuals, confirming multiple targets maneuvering in impossible ways. The Navy could not identify them. Explanations ranged from optical illusions to foreign drones, yet none accounted for the precision, silence, or endurance shown. These weren't random sightings. They were logged, tracked, and corroborated by sensors and eyewitnesses across multiple ships. If the Pentagon's 2021 admission cracked the door open, the 2019 encounters blew it wider. The military could no longer treat these events as isolated curiosities, and as more footage surfaced, the same patterns began emerging elsewhere, especially over one region that has become a global hotspot for such phenomena: sky anomalies over South America. Across South America, the skies have become an open stage for aerial anomalies. From the deserts of Chile to the forests of Brazil, witnesses, pilots, police, and civilians alike report the same strange craft, glowing orbs, triangular shapes, and objects moving in ways no aircraft should. Unlike fleeting single-witness claims, these events are recorded, verified, and sometimes investigated by government agencies. In Brazil, videos show fast-moving lights darting across the Amazon night sky, making instant turns without slowing. In Argentina's Pampas region, farmers describe silent spheres hovering above fields, pulsing with light before vanishing into the dark. And in Chile, the state-backed CEFAA, one of the world's only official UAP research agencies, has confirmed multiple videos showing objects hovering in formation, observed simultaneously by pilots and ground personnel. The reports share uncanny similarities: silent motion, abrupt acceleration, and seamless transitions from air to sea. Even local law enforcement has logged encounters, describing how objects would hang motionless for minutes before vanishing off radar. Despite countless analyses, most remain officially unidentified. These South American sightings echo the same technological impossibilities recorded by the U.S. Navy, craft defying known physics, operating beyond explanation, and appearing wherever human eyes happen to look upward. If these cases already have you questioning what we've really been told, then make sure you subscribe, because what comes next goes even deeper. The Phoenix Lights. In 1997, the night sky over Arizona turned into one of the most documented mysteries in modern history. Thousands across the state, from pilots and police officers to families standing in their driveways, witnessed massive V-shaped formations of lights silently moving across the desert sky. Official statements pointed to military flare exercises, yet the scale and consistency of what people saw made that explanation hard to accept. Nearly 3 decades later, in 2024, the event resurfaced with renewed weight as those who were children then began speaking publicly as adults. Their memories matched in uncanny detail: shadows blocking out stars, geometric outlines behind the glow, and a faint inner light that pulsed from within the formation itself. Modern video enhancement tools have since reanalyzed old camcorder footage, revealing uniform spacing and synchronized movement that flares simply couldn't mimic. Radar and meteorological data from that night add even more intrigue. The conditions were too stable for drifting lights to remain perfectly aligned for so long, and radar logs show faint anomalies that hint at something large evading detection. While skeptics maintain it was a mix of flares and misidentified aircraft, new generations of researchers argue otherwise. For them, the Phoenix Lights represent a turning point, a moment when public testimony, technical data, and visual evidence all converged into something that defied conventional logic.
We were just in awe of it. I mean, no fear or anything, just kind of like, oh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I thought I was going to pass out because I stopped breathing. I was so enthralled in looking at this thing.
The Phoenix Lights event in March is being talked about now all over the world.
The buzz is very big in the desert Southwest after some weird happenings in the skies over Phoenix recently.
As the conversation reignited, one truth became clear. Whatever appeared over Phoenix wasn't an isolated phenomenon. It was part of a pattern, one that continued to reappear on radar screens, in military footage, and in testimonies from pilots thousands of miles away. The tic-tac.
Your relative, right? Yeah.
263 and 3 miles, 55 knots.
That pattern reached its most famous form in 2004, when U.S. Navy pilots encountered a smooth, oval-shaped object off the coast of California. It was dubbed the tic-tac. With no visible wings, engines, or exhaust, it moved with impossible precision, dropping tens of thousands of feet in seconds, stopping mid-air, then vanishing from radar. 2 decades later, between 2023 and 2024, similar objects reappeared on modern naval radar systems. The data matched perfectly with the 2004 reports: instant acceleration, right-angle turns, and complete disregard for aerodynamic limits. Pilots once again confirmed visual contact, describing the same glossy white craft performing movements no known aircraft could achieve. Whistleblowers like David Grush claim the U.S. government has long tracked such objects, hinting at secret programs that study craft with identical flight characteristics. Official agencies neither confirm nor deny it, but their silence speaks volumes. If radar logs, pilot testimonies, and modern detections all align, then the tic-tac is no longer a singular event. It's evidence of a recurring technology or intelligence operating just beyond our understanding. Skeptics continue to suggest radar glitches or atmospheric effects, but as these encounters multiply across different systems and decades, those explanations grow thinner. The tic-tac doesn't just challenge physics, it challenges the boundaries of what humanity believes it controls in the sky. The NATO incident. And just as the U.S. Navy refined its understanding of these phenomena, reports began surfacing from across the Atlantic. In early 2023, NATO's radar network detected an unidentified object over Eastern Europe, tracked simultaneously by multiple defense systems spanning several countries. It didn't follow a straight path. Instead, it darted, climbed, and pivoted in ways that baffled radar operators trained to recognize every known type of aircraft and missile. No propulsion trail, no heat signature, no logical explanation. According to insiders, multiple fighter jets were scrambled for visual confirmation, but each time they locked on, the target abruptly changed direction or disappeared completely from radar. The data shared across NATO's integrated network suggested a coordinated detection, not a local glitch. Yet, when the event was over, no official statement followed. Silence from NATO only deepened speculation. Was it an experimental craft from a rival nation, or something entirely different? Whatever it was, it demonstrated intelligence and control beyond known technology. Analysts reviewing the radar data later noted one unsettling fact. The object's flight patterns mirrored the same impossible maneuvers seen in the tic-tac encounters years earlier. Across continents and decades, the same anomalies persist. Triangular formations, silent motion, transmedium craft, and radar signatures that come and go like ghosts. The pattern isn't fading, it's growing. And each new event, from Phoenix to the open skies above Europe, tightens the thread connecting these mysteries into one continuous, unresolved story. Halfway through, and the evidence only gets stranger. Hit the like button if you're with us on this journey, because the truth is unraveling piece by piece. Classified Russian footage. Across the endless tundras of Siberia, where night stretches for hours and silence carries for miles, strange lights have been filmed gliding through the sky, spirals, glowing spheres, and beams that appear to bend physics itself. These aren't fleeting meteors or distant satellites. They move with symmetry, rotating in deliberate patterns before collapsing inward and vanishing. Some of the clearest footage allegedly comes from within restricted Russian military zones. One now infamous clip, leaked from a Siberian outpost, shows a massive spiral forming in the upper atmosphere, rotating with eerie precision, as if guided by an unseen mechanism. Within seconds, the structure folds into a vertical column and disappears. Witnesses compared it to the Norwegian spiral of 2009, another event once dismissed as a failed rocket test, but never fully explained. Scientists have attempted to anchor these sightings in known phenomena, sprites, ELVES, plasma discharges, but even they admit the geometry is too organized, the behavior too calculated. Others believe these are glimpses of experimental propulsion tests, perhaps linked to classified defense projects. After all, Siberia's isolation provides the perfect stage for experiments no one is meant to see. Yet the mystery deepens with timing. Many of these spirals coincide with unexplained airspace closures and unannounced missile tests. Whether coincidence or cover, the overlap fuels speculation. Villagers who filmed the events describe light so bright it cast shadows.
incredibly bright too.
It was very bright.
It was really bright.
A silent hum vibrating through the air and beams collapsing with mechanical precision. It's no wonder many locals interpret them not as weather, but as technology, something deliberate, perhaps even intelligent. And though Russia denies any involvement, its silence only strengthens the myth. Each spiral adds another layer to a puzzle that refuses to fade. But as strange as these lights are, what happens in the deserts of Nevada may be even harder to explain. The hidden base at Tonopah. Just beyond the famous boundaries of Area 51 lies another desert fortress, one that rarely makes headlines yet holds its own catalog of secrets. The Tonopah Test Range, deep in Nevada's wastelands, is where silence does the talking. While Groom Lake draws all the public fascination, Tonopah operates quietly, testing, hiding, and vanishing projects that never make it to official records. In the 1980s, the stealth F-117 Nighthawk took shape here long before the world knew it existed. When that program was declassified, Tonopah simply went darker, shifting into new layers of secrecy. Satellite images now show massive hangars and airstrips built without public notice, some large enough to house aircraft that shouldn't exist. Every few years, new shapes appear on satellite scans, parked neatly in formation before disappearing again. Some researchers claim the base acts as an extension of Area 51, linked by underground tunnels used to transfer equipment and possibly, according to whispered accounts, non-terrestrial technology. Whistleblowers describe hangars where security clearances mean little and where objects are studied, not flown. Nothing is proven, but the pattern is familiar. Whenever one mystery is exposed, Tonopah seems to birth another. Unlike its infamous neighbor, Tonopah avoids attention entirely. There are no tours, no conspiracy festivals, just a sprawling grid of security lights and restricted airspace that flickers on and off like a signal. The lack of acknowledgement, some say, is what makes it so effective. It doesn't deny its existence, it just erases its purpose. And as secrecy deepens, so does speculation, especially when voices from within the system begin to speak. That's when rumor stops being myth and starts sounding like testimony. The whistleblower files. In 2023, a former U.S. intelligence officer named David Grush stepped forward, not as a theorist, but as a man under oath. His claims were simple and staggering. The U.S. government, he said, has been running covert programs dedicated to retrieving and studying craft of non-human origin. Not stories, not rumors, retrievals. He called it a multi-decade crash recovery and reverse engineering effort, hidden even from congressional oversight.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Grush claimed to have interviewed multiple insiders who had seen both recovered materials and biologics, entities connected to those craft. He wasn't showing photos or parts, but his credibility gave weight to his words. A decorated intelligence officer accusing his own government of concealing non-human artifacts was unprecedented, and doing it publicly, under oath, raised the stakes even higher.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
The Pentagon denied his claims, as it always does, insisting that no verifiable evidence supports the existence of such materials. Yet leaked documents later confirmed to have originated from internal archives, referenced crash retrieval programs under names long classified. Suddenly, what sounded like myth began aligning with bureaucracy. For many, Grush's testimony didn't reveal a new story. It confirmed an old one whispered for decades by men like Bob Lazar, who once described 9 disc-shaped craft stored in a Nevada base eerily similar to Tonopah.
9 flying saucers, flying discs, that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
Decades apart, their accounts overlapped in unsettling ways. Reverse-engineered propulsion systems, recovered alloys, and a chain of command operating outside civilian oversight. Whether coincidence or continuity, the implications are staggering. If these testimonies hold even a fragment of truth, then projects like Tonopah aren't just testing tomorrow's aircraft. They're dissecting something far older, far stranger. Together, the Siberian spirals, Tonopah's secrecy, and Grush's sworn testimony form a single thread. Evidence, fragmented, elusive, yet undeniably consistent, that someone, somewhere, is operating beyond known human capability. And perhaps, for now, that's exactly how they want it to remain. Do they exist? Across all these sightings, the spirals over Siberia, the secrecy of Tonopah, and the testimonies before Congress, a single truth begins to emerge. Something is out there. Different decades, different continents, yet the same stories echo. If all this were an illusion, why do radar logs, sworn witnesses, and leaked files align so perfectly? The evidence may not be absolute, but it's too consistent to ignore. Whether it's human technology or something not of this world, the answer leans toward yes, they exist. And perhaps they've been watching us far longer than we've dared to watch them. Subscribe for more mysteries that push the line between fact and the impossible.